All right, well, let's see what the man says as he replies to Shaya's question about why they are having a party. The man simply says, we're celebrating. We're celebrating. When you're celebrating, you're having fun. You're maybe having a party because something good has happened. Something special has happened. You celebrate birthdays, you celebrate New Year's Eve, things like that. So he says we're celebrating, but then he explains a little bit more. He says we just had our first successful harvest in the new world.
Oh.
Okay, that's a reason to celebrate. Absolutely. They had their first successful harvest. A harvest is basically the end of the summer season when the farmers will cut down or pick or bring in all of the food that they have grown. That food, all of that food that their hard work has given them is their harvest. And if you have a good harvest or a successful harvest, that just basically means they have a lot of food. So they'll be able to eat all through the winter. This word successful is our word power word. It's spelled S-U-C-C-E-S-S-F-U-L. S-U-C-C-E-S-S-F-U-L.
Successful here is an adjective and it means achieving what you wanted or having the effect or the result that you intended. So for example, if you have a big test the next day, you study all night for this test and you get 100 on the test on the next day. That means you had a very successful result. That means you were very, very successful because you worked very hard to get this grade. All right, so let's take a look at successful in an example sentence. It says, Wonder Woman is a successful movie. Everyone loves it. Wonder Woman is a successful movie. Everyone loves it. All right, so Roxy wants to learn more about these people as well. And now she's kind of guessing. She kind of, picks up some clues and then it dawns on her that maybe they're these type of people. So she asks, are you the pilgrims?
Oh, okay.
It makes sense now.
Right, absolutely. And of course, pilgrims would be wearing kind of special clothes, right? A lot of black with a little white collar, and the men would have big hats, and the women would have their hair all done up under a sort of hood type thing. It's a very unique style of clothing that's connected to the pilgrims. Pilgrims were basically people back in the 15, 16, 1700s who were running away from Europe in order to escape the power of the king. Basically, they went to a different kind of church from the king, and he didn't really trust them, and he made their life difficult. So they're like, see ya, we're out of here. And they left parts of England especially, and they went over to the New World, which was what we now call Canada and America, which is the place we are now. So that's the pilgrims, and yes, they had unusual clothing, very special. And what does this pilgrim man say? He says, yes, they are the pilgrims. And he explains very briefly what I just said. We came here from Europe. Yeah, they came from Europe. Some from France, maybe from parts of Germany, but many from England.
Most of them from England first.
Southern England,
Yeah, they were kind of counted as like the first people to kind of live in this new world or to kind of settle
really
down
stay
to live
there.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So because they're having this dinner, this party after a successful harvest, and because they are pilgrims, Shaya is able to figure out a little bit
He's
something.
very smart.
He is. He knows his history. What does he say?
Yeah, he says, so the year is 1621. Wow, very specific.
That is very good.
Very
I wouldn't
specific.
have been able to say
I know.
that so accurately. And then Roxy also figures out what's happening because she also is a student of history. She says, then this is the first Thanksgiving dinner. She's got it. She's figured it all out. I can't wait to eat. Absolutely. It's going to be a fantastic meal. Thanksgiving is what we call this dinner. It's also what was generally known as this time of year because at the end of the long summer, the farmers would have done their hard work. Hopefully their harvest would be big, they'd have a lot of food. And I guess for farmers, the winter's kind of like their time off, right? Because there's snow everywhere, they can't grow much. Feed the chickens, take care of a few cows, and then, hey, you're off until spring. So as long as you had enough food from your harvest, that was a pretty happy time of year. So they're giving thanks or thanksgiving to God and nature and all that stuff for giving them everything. And why not have a dinner
Yeah, why
when
not?
you're having a celebration.
Definitely, because at dinner usually you can eat a lot more.
Sure, it's a great way to bring people together.
Right, but what is dinner? Dinner is our word pair word. It's spelled D-I-N-N-E-R. Dinner.
So dinner is one of the 3 meals that we would eat every day. Since we're talking about dinner and meals, we're talking about nouns. What are the 3 meals we have? Everyone together with me? Breakfast in the morning, that's right. Then lunch, very good. And then dinner. Dinner is the meal you would usually eat in the evening, the last big meal of the day. Maybe you'll have some milk and cookies as a snack before bedtime. But dinner is that main meal. Most people eat it around 6, 7 p.m. Sometimes it's also called supper, S-U-P-P-E-R, but basically those 2 words are about the same. They are the word that we would use for the big meal at the end of the day. It's your dinner. For example, George cooked meat and vegetables for dinner. George cooked meat and vegetables for dinner. Wow, so the dinner is getting cooked. It looks like their Thanksgiving celebration is starting off on the right foot.
On the way. That's right. And then we see here that the pilgrim is speaking to them more. He says, we have to wait for our friends to arrive. So they have this dinner almost ready, but they can't start yet because more guests are coming. More people are coming to this big Thanksgiving dinner.
It's true. It would be rude for them to begin their celebration, to start dinner, if the friends haven't arrived. And actually, that's one of the big sort of challenges when you have a big dinner is getting everyone to be there at the same time as the food is ready to eat. I remember at our Thanksgiving dinners when I was a kid, one of my cousins used to say, "Oh, I'll make the vegetables," you know, to take some of the work from off the other people. So my mom would make the turkey or the dessert, and this cousin would bring the vegetables. She would always be 45 minutes late, and the vegetables she would bring would be frozen.
Oh.
She just got them out of the freezer, so it was
So
another...
she would still need to have
It was
time to
another
cook it.
45 minutes or so until the vegetables were ready. So this happened a few years, and then for the rest of the time it was like, don't get Cousin Joni to make the vegetables. Tell her to bring, you know, the dessert or something like that we don't have to eat right away. Anyways, there we go. So it looks like the first Thanksgiving dinner with Roxy and Shaya attending is off to a good start.
That's right. All right, so let's take a quick break and we'll be right back with our review time.